Today we're diving into a topic that's crucial for building more complex and interesting sentences: subordinating conjunctions. We'll explain what they are, how they work, and give you plenty of examples to make them clear.
That's right. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of how these powerful little words can connect your ideas and improve your English. So, let's get started.
Absolutely, Annie. So what exactly is a subordinating conjunction? In simple terms, it's a word that connects a dependent clause to an independent clause. Now, for those who might be new to these terms, let's break that down. An independent clause is a complete thought. It can stand alone as a sentence. For example, I went to the store is an independent clause. It makes sense on its own.
And a dependent clause, on the other hand, is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb, but does not express a complete thought. It cannot stand alone as a sentence. For instance, because I needed milk is a dependent clause. If I just say, because I needed milk, you'd be left wondering, well, what happened because you needed milk? It needs something else to make it complete.
Exactly. That's where the subordinating conjunction comes in. It acts as the bridge, connecting that incomplete thought to a complete one. It shows the relationship between the two clauses. This relationship can be about time, cause and effect, contrast, condition, and so much more.
Let's look at some common subordinating conjunctions and explore the relationships they show. One of the most frequently used is because. This conjunction indicates a reason or cause. For example, I stayed home because it was raining. Here, I stayed home is the independent clause, and it was raining is the dependent clause. Because tells us the reason for staying home.
Another common one is although or though. These are used to show contrast or concession. Consider the sentence, although it was raining, we still went for a walk. The independent clause is, we still went for a walk, and the dependent clause is, although it was raining. Although tells us that despite the rain, the walk still happened. It presents a contrasting idea.
That's a great example, Altaf. How about conjunctions that deal with time? Words like when, while, before, after, and until are all excellent examples. Take when, for instance. When the bell rang, the students left the classroom. The students left the classroom is the independent clause, and when the bell rang is the dependent clause. When specifies the time of the action.
Or while. While I was studying, my phone rang. Here, my phone rang is the independent clause. While I was studying is the dependent clause, and while indicates that these two actions happened at the same time. It sets the scene for the phone call.
Before and after are quite straightforward. I finished my homework before I watched TV. The action of finishing homework happened prior to watching TV. And after I finished my homework, I watched TV shows the sequence of events.
And until, I will wait until you arrive. I will wait is the independent clause, and until you arrive is the dependent clause. Until specifies the point in time when the waiting will stop.
Moving on, we have conjunctions that express conditions. If is a prime example. If it rains, we will stay inside. We will stay inside is the independent clause, and if it rains is the dependent clause. If introduces a condition that must be met for the main action to occur.
Similarly, unless expresses a negative condition. We will go to the park unless it rains. This means we will go to the park provided it doesn't rain. Unless implies if not.
It's important to remember that when the dependent clause comes before the independent clause, we usually use a comma to separate them. For example, because it was cold, I wore a jacket. But if the independent clause comes first, we usually don't need a comma. I wore a jacket because it was cold. This is a common point of confusion for many learners.
You've hit on a crucial point, Annie. Punctuation with subordinating conjunctions is something to pay close attention to. Another set of subordinating conjunctions deals with purpose, such as so that. She studied hard so that she could pass the exam. Here, so that explains the reason or purpose behind her studying.
And then there are conjunctions of place like where and wherever. I will meet you where the river bends. Where indicates the location. Or you can sit wherever you like. Wherever gives you the freedom to choose any spot.
Let's talk about conjunctions that express comparison or manner. As can be used in a few ways. He sings as if he were a professional. Here, as if describes the manner of his singing, or simply as can mean in the way that. Do as I say.
Another useful one is while, when it expresses contrast, not just time. Some people like coffee, while others prefer tea. Here, while highlights the difference between the two preferences. It's important to understand the context to interpret the meaning of such conjunctions correctly.
Yes, context is key in English. We also have since, which can mean either because or refer to a point in time. For example, since you're here, you can help me. Here it means because you are here. But then there's I haven't seen her since she moved away. In this case, since indicates a point in time from which something has been happening.
Let's reiterate the main function of these words. Subordinating conjunctions allow us to combine simple sentences into more complex ones, showing clear relationships between ideas. Without them, our writing and speaking would be very choppy and basic. Imagine trying to express all these ideas using only short, simple sentences. It would be quite difficult to convey nuanced meanings.
That's very true. They add flow and sophistication to our language. Think about how much more informative and engaging a sentence like, although it was late, she continued to work on her project because she had a deadline, is compared to three separate sentences. It was late. She continued to work on her project. She had a deadline. The conjunctions bind the ideas together logically.
Precisely. They are essential tools for effective communication. When you're constructing sentences, always think about the relationship you want to express between your ideas. Do you want to show a cause, a contrast, a condition, or a time relationship? Once you identify that, choosing the right subordinating conjunction becomes much easier.
And practice is vital. The more you read and listen to English, the more familiar you'll become with how these conjunctions are used naturally. Then, the more you incorporate them into your own speaking and writing, the more confident you'll become.
So, to recap what we've learned today, we started by defining subordinating conjunctions as words that connect a dependent clause to an independent clause, forming a complex sentence. We discussed how an independent clause is a complete thought, while a dependent clause is not.
We then explored various categories of subordinating conjunctions, including those that express cause, because, contrast, although, though, time, when, while, before, after, until, and condition, if, unless. We also touched upon conjunctions of purpose, so that, place, where, wherever, and comparison manner, as if.
And we highlighted the important punctuation rule. Use a comma when the dependent clause comes before the independent clause, but usually not when the independent clause comes first. Understanding and correctly using subordinating conjunctions will significantly enhance your ability to construct more sophisticated and clear sentences in English.
Thank you for joining us on Grammar with Altaf. We hope this explanation of subordinating conjunctions has been helpful and easy to understand. Keep practicing and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye for now.